Aloha, fellow gaytriots. My name is Breath-Aryan, and I come with a warning today regarding the current trucking protest that's occurring in a land known as Canada. You might think that this trucking demonstration is the spark that will lead to the flaming fire that will destroy the Illuminati and the New World Order. You might look at this as somewhat of a patriotic wet dream. This is not a patriotic wet dream. This is a gaytriot's butt-fucking nightmare, and when you wake up from it, you'll find yourself inside a prison cell experiencing a sodomy session with a complete stranger every night. AKA, you'll be butt-fucked by your prison cellmate every night! Because that's where you're going. Jail. I want you to think back to January 6, when freedom fighters and fellow gun polishers alike stormed the Capitol building in attempts to garner some form of freedom. Ask yourself, what happened to those fellow gun polishing individuals? Well, some of them were sent to prison and experienced such homosexual activities that I mentioned earlier. Other individuals were completely demonized by the media and are now facing heavy infringements from the government. What they were trying to achieve was not achieved. They thought they were taking one step backwards and instead took 14 steps forward. Or maybe reverse what I just said to get the message I'm trying to deliver. Yes, Nancy Pelosi's desk was shat upon by somebody dressed up as Chewbacca. But other than that, the riots, or the protests, were a complete failure. Now think about today's current enthusiastic protests done by truckies, quote unquote. How hard would it be to sabotage such an event? How easy would it be to pay somebody to go there with an explosive device, aka a bomb, and blow the place to bits? How easy would it be to pay 10 schizophrenic men to shave their head, tattoo swastika symbols on their forehead, and shoot the place up with an AK-47? It'd be easy. And then, like that, the whole movement would be labelled by the satanic media as a neo-Nazi convention. All of those who attended said event would be labelled as criminals, would be demonised by the media, and if, God forbid, somebody were to die, the blood would be on your hands. So I want to present 3 facts for you, 3 arguments that are 100% based in fact, and I hope that after hearing these arguments, it may sway your opinion, and you may actually have the insight to stay away from these events. So first of all, argument number 1, the Illuminati card game. The Illuminati card game contains one single card, and that card is the truck driver protest. You see, this is a card trick in the magician's arsenal, and I do mean arsenal, of tricks. And they're deciding to play it right now. Point number 2, GoFundMe account. When I was in MK Ultra, when I was in the military and we had to do operations, funding would work like this. Funding would go into an account. Funding would then be distributed immediately to those individuals orchestrating said missions. For example, if you wanted to go into a building and shoot the place up, you would be getting the funds for that before said shooting occurred. However, with this current trucking demonstration, the GoFundMe has not even pulled out $1 single and allocated those funds to any truck drivers of the sort. Those funds are being frozen, and the truck drivers will never see those funds, even though they're paying thousands of dollars in diesel to operate said semi-truck vehicles. And in conditions where the snow and freezing cold weathers mean that freezing to death is a serious concern, you need to make sure that your trucks are running 24/7, okay? The moment you decide to let your truck just sit there, switched off, means disaster. So these truckies have to put their own money into diesel and run trucks, spend time away from their families and time away from work in times when simply this cannot be afforded. This is fucking nonsense, and you'd be a fool to believe it. So who's running the GoFundMe account? An individual by the name of BJ Diksha. Blowjob Diksha. And if you do any research into Mr. Blowjob, you'll find out very fast that he's a homosexual sodomite, and he doesn't give a fuck about freedom unless said freedom is the freedom to pump another man's anus. No truckie will receive that money in the GoFundMe account. The only person that will have that $7 million is Mr. BJ. And he'll have a very fun and exuberant time spending those funds having his penis succulated by strange men in Ibiza, Spain. Point and argument number 3. Helicopters. You'll see that there's helicopters flying around the Parliament building with the words "Fuck Trudeau" on them. And if you're stoned and drunk enough, or maybe just retarded, you might applaud that helicopter and think, wow, what a beautiful movement of freedom. Do you know if you're unauthorized and you decide to fly an aircraft over a government building, that is actually sanctioned under law as a terrorist attack and is a threat to national security? If this was a legitimate grassroots movement and somebody decided to fly an aircraft into classified airspace, that aircraft would literally be destroyed faster than you can say, "My Bitcoin smells like semen." So look, the fact that anybody's flying a helicopter around a sanctioned airspace is fucking truth and fact telling you, hello, wakey wakey, this isn't organic. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin come and fuck my ass Trudeau is inside of that helicopter, laughing to himself about how fucking stupid you are. So let me revise those 3 points. Illuminati card game, go fuck me account, and of course helicopters. The next question you might ask, why would they lie? Well, if you didn't know, the supply chains in Canada are starting to fail. And what that's going to mean is that people will go hungry when there's no fucking food in their grocery stores. Do you think that the system wants people to blame the system for said failures of supply chain? Absolutely not. The system wants you to blame each other. When people start to go hungry in Canada because there's no food on the shelves, instead of looking at the very people who orchestrated this supply chain destruction, they'll blame the truckies. They'll look at you fucking idiots and blame you. They'll say, you truck drivers are murderers, you anti-vaccine truckies are the reason that my grandma's starving to death. And then sanctions will be put upon you and you'll probably end up inside of a prison cell, getting anal fucked by some sexually deranged homosexual every night. I know that this is coming as a fucking fact. You can choose not to believe me. You can call me a buzzkill. I know the patriotic fire in your heart has been fucking awoken due to some stupid bagpipe playing and a convoy of trucks driving past. I get that. I really do. But your emotional strings are being played so brilliantly by the New World Order and the Illuminati. So you will be blamed for the supply chain collapse. And also, you cannot say global communist New World Order takeover without saying a workers' revolution. You see, the truck drivers in Canada, the truck drivers in the United States, the truck drivers in Australia, they're all going to unify under one banner. You get it? Communism. The workers' revolt. You're playing into their hands. You're doing exactly what they want you to do. Please think about it. Please don't end up in jail. I really don't want to see any fellow breathers going to these protests. You need to start preparing, okay? You need to get yourself food and provisions or transition to becoming a breatharian, because if you don't have food supply, if you don't have a farm, or if you're not a breatharian, well, in the next 4 months you're going to be fucked, okay? Now I'm going to present you a slideshow and some music from my favourite rock and roll classic. I bid you farewell, namaste, and aloha.
Siege of the city of Ottawa. I call it a siege because that's what it is. It's an illegal occupation. To those trying to force a political agenda through disruption, intimidation, and chaos, my message to you is this: there will be consequences for these actions, and they will be severe. Fines for noncompliance will be severe, with a maximum penalty of $100,000 and up to a year imprisonment. And up to a year imprisonment.
And up to a year imprisonment.